Welcome to This Day in the Mafia with Staxx and Steve. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing, Staxx? How was your day?
I'm
One of
good,
them
man.
days, run. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
there
was
was a lot
good.
going on today in the Mafia. A lot going on today. We got a lot of stuff to cover for sure. Surprising.
Yeah, man.
When you pull it up,
Yeah,
it's like, whoa, it's a lot happened. So
yeah.
yeah,
So how
good.
you been, man? How you been doing?
I'm good, man. It's a busy day, getting a lot done. You know how it is. You just got to keep grinding. Every day's a grind. Every day you're in there trying to make something happen, no matter what it is. So pretty happy about it. Lots of stuff we're building. You know the deal. Lots of things coming around the corner, man. I think it's
Are
going to
you
be
gonna
really.
drop the website today or what?
I think I will. Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I think it's ready. It's definitely time. So, I'll tell some people about it today. So it'll be cool. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Hosted by. We got a chance to get that part done. So I was excited, and this is a good organization, and I think it'll be a really cool thing for a lot of people, especially Christmas time coming. So don't forget,
Yeah.
get your credit card out.
Yeah, man. So go check out mobswag.com.
Yep. And then when you get in there, click on the collection button and go in, and there you go. You'll see some things. You'll see some Staxx stuff. You see some other stuff. It's an exciting opportunity. There's some things in there to check out, and also, the organization wants to continue to bring more designers in that they're into the mob thing and mob wear and clothing, and there's going to be some really cool things coming up from them. So yeah, check it out for sure. We
Yeah,
plan
like if
on a
there's
good.
any people out there that have a clothing line that they want to put onto the website, then they can, right?
Yeah, basically the way they do it is we it's all drop ship. So if you have a design, a lot of people have boxes and boxes of actual physical merchandise. Hey,
What's up,
what's going
Yankees
on?
for life?
Yankees for life. What's happening? But
What's
in this
good, bro?
particular instance, they do drop ship stuff, so you don't have to touch it. You just people order it, boom, 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 sent out, nice and easy. So what the company's doing is created a marketplace. If you're a designer and you have some designs on T-shirts or something that's related to the space that we're in, which is mob, which is we don't glorify killers, and there's we don't do they don't do pornography and all that stuff. So if it's
Yeah.
cool, they'll definitely work with you. But it's just another way for people to be able to get some stuff out and make a couple dollars, see what happens, put it out there. So I'm excited that they're getting involved with
I
what we're
know a
doing.
guy with a clothing line. Go to the streets, man.
Yeah. His
Omerta.
his is really solid too.
Yeah.
It's solid. So, in fact, you wear his stuff, don't you? You got there. You go, right there. There it is, Omerta.
Yeah, man.
Yep,
Go check out his stuff too. Is he gonna put his on the Mob Swag website?
absolutely. Yep, as far as I know. Yep. So for sure. Yep. Everybody that's cool, man. You know how it is. We have our favorites. You have people that are good to work with. There's and we're getting to know more people, and I'm working with them in that organization and trying to bring it all together. We're trying to do something really cool with it and really get some good stuff out. There's going to be some really interesting things coming in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned
Yeah,
for
man. I
sure.
got a lot of good guests coming up soon, and like I'm gonna be pumping them out. I got a bunch scheduled, so make sure you stay tuned for that. It's gonna be really good, man. People are gonna be
Absolutely.
quite surprised at the level of caliber of guests I'm getting.
It's great.
It's
And
pretty like
well
wow.
deserved. Definitely well deserved. I mean, you've been doing this for a minute. You're building a nice solid base, and but you're the guy. You interview great with people, so it's well deserved, man. I'm glad
Thank
that
you,
that's
man.
happening. So you want to jump into this on this day?
Yeah,
There's a
man.
lot that happened. So the first thing that came up um, on this day in 1927, the singer and comedian Joe E. Lewis was slashed on the face and neck and left for dead in his hotel room by henchmen associated with outfit member Jack Mcgirm. Lewis had been under contract in one of Mcgirm's nightclubs, but decided not to renew his contract. He was a performer. After the attack, Lewis initially lost his ability to speak, but regained it back with therapy. Pretty tough being a singer and losing your ability to speak. But this is interesting. Al Capone stepped up and gave Lewis $10,000 to aid in his recovery. So interesting thing about this is Jack Mcgirm also has a tie-in with the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And what I think was interesting is they're both on the same. Al Capone and Mcgirm were pretty much working for the same team, Al's team. So Jack Mcgirm was famous for his involvement in St. Valentine's Day's Massacre. He basically was the one that got the ball rolling. He approached Al Capone in 1929 after surviving a failed hit on his life, which is ordered by Northside gang boss Bugs Moran, who was working in the Chicago outfit as a lieutenant at the time, and got Al Capone's financial backing, and he orchestrated the hit by drawing up plans of action as well as stealing 2 police uniforms and a car. And he's also the guy that did the shotgun blast that blew one of the guy's head off in that classic picture. That's him. I think that was him that did that. So also
Jack Mcgirm, right?
Mac Mcgirm, yeah.
I got a picture of him right here.
Do you?
Yeah, it's loading. But yeah, man, them dudes back in the day were crazy down in Chicago. They were just driving around shooting each other in broad daylight. Al Capone killed a police officer after they killed his brother in Cicero. He killed the police officer.
Yeah.
And he never went to jail for that. This is Mcgirm right here with one of his women.
Huh. You see those old pictures, it's crazy. And then I'm looking here on the let's see if I can get it. Sorry about that. I lost my spot. So I'm looking at November, because there were a couple things that happened in November. I got to get in there and see if I can get in.
I got a picture of Mcgirm and Al Capone.
Yeah, there's Sonny. That's Capone's kid. Al Capone had one kid, Sonny. What's interesting too, even his wife May, I think that was her name. You didn't hear a lot about them. He was one thing about Capone that he was really, really good at. He had the ability of really separating 2 things. Business was one thing. His home life was something completely different. Well, we can go one step. Let's see. If we went up a day, so tomorrow, there's one thing that happened tomorrow. Actually, it could be kind of cool to talk about. Dean O'Banion was the son of an Irish immigrant, Charles O'Banion. He was born on July 8th, 1892 in Illinois. And basically, what is it? Dean O'Banion. I guess he got whacked on the 10th. So tomorrow, that's what it looks like. I'll have more. Let me read a little bit.
Dean O'Banion, he got killed on the 10th. He was a flower.
It was a flower shop. That was O'Banion's shop, flower shop. Yeah.
Yeah. Dean O'Banion's flower shop.
Yeah. So, in 1926, Al Capone met with his gangland committee at the hotel, the big hotel, and also the same year in 26, there was an attempt on his life. Well, there's multiple attempts too, but basically, what nobody knew.
They were going back and forth.
Oh yeah, it was prohibition. Think about if he took the alcohol thing. If alcohol was legal, what that would have looked like. That would have been fairly calm. What would you have? Prostitution, gambling, the usual stuff. You wouldn't have liquor as part of that. Because of prohibition, man, that just, there were even police officers, police chiefs that started, running booze. I forget the guy's name. I'll find out. But he got involved in that, made a fortune running alcohol. He was a former police officer, police chief. So if anybody's watching, give us some feedback. There you go.
On the left, there's Dean O'Banion's flower shop, and that's where he was shot on the X. And on the right is the outside of his flower shop.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. So, it was back and forth. It was daily, back and forth. I remember my in-laws, they're passed now, but we were in Chicago and got a chance to listen to them talk about, those days. And it was like every day. And they didn't have internet or none of that. So they had the radio and they had newspaper. Newspaper was how everybody got their information. People couldn't wait to check out the headlines because there was just bodies all over Chicago, during those days.
And just like Code of the Streets talks a lot about it, that Al Capone was helping the less fortunate and the homeless. He had a soup kitchen. He was one of the first people to ever do a soup kitchen, and a lot of people were praising him as like the Robin Hood, you know.
Well, and the thing is, that's the problem. I mean, that was tough for people because there was such a humanitarian issue. People were starving. What are you going to do? And he did that. Now I wonder if you could go back and talk to Al Capone. I would have been cool to be a fly on the wall back in those days when he was talking to his people about, okay, we're going to open a soup kitchen. Is it to
Like,
really help
are you
people?
doing it
Is it
to
because you
help
want to help
people?
people, or is it just to make yourself look good, to keep the heat off you?
What do you think, man? What do you
I,
think it was?
I think it's a combination of both. I think people were in his ear saying, Al, good idea, do this, it's a good thing, going to help some people, but you're going to help people in your neighborhood and they're all going to rally behind you. So that part worked great. And he did help a lot of people. Otherwise, they would have starved to death. So
Honestly, man, I talked to a lot of gangsters. I have talked to a lot of them. And a lot of them are good people, man. A lot of them had good hearts. They're genuinely good people. They just got not dealt a wrong hand, but they just got mixed up in the wrong stuff, man. Because
the wrong people influenced them at a young age and sent them in the wrong direction.
Because they would be successful if they were in regular business without all the bullshit.
Right. The problem is when kids are young, especially young men, and you're in a tough neighborhood, there isn't a lot of opportunities. You're going to get those guys that they're going to look up to. Unfortunately, nowadays, a lot of the guys that they look up to are using these young kids not to help them or to mentor them to be better as kids when they grow up, but I'm going to use you for my benefit. So you're going to do this for me. You're going to do that for me. You're going to people talk like Jimmy talks about that, and people that we've talked about in the past as guys in there. But hey, man, here's $100.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing the gangs do with the younger people, man. They get them to do things for them. I used to go to the store for people and go to the bootlegger and buy weed or whatever. Go here and do this, do that. You're like an 8-year-old kid. You don't know any different,
Yeah, and you're getting little things here and there to do it, but you're getting caught up. And the bad thing is a lot of these people that influence these kids is they just keep ratcheting it up what they have them doing. Eventually, they have them doing all kinds of shit for them, drive-bys, the whole 9 yards. And the next thing you know, these kids look around and they're in 100%. And that's it. You're in. Once you're in, you're in. And you're in a neighborhood that you don't have a choice but to associate with somebody just for your own safety. It's just like being in
with
prison.
the mob. A lot of it are people are born into it, like they have family that were, or it's like Jimmy's situation. He didn't have family that was in it, but
in the neighborhood,
he was around those type of people all the time. So obviously, you're gonna gravitate towards them. They're around your same age, and you're hanging out with them every day.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure, I would. I mean, I think anybody would if I was a young person growing up down there, running running up and down Bath Avenue back in those days. Of course, you're going to do that. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, and the dynamics change from block to block. So 3 blocks down, you have your own clique, your own set of people that are like similar stories, but the names are different. It's just that's what's interesting about that whole thing.
Shout out to Cuzzo.
What's going on? That was a hell of a conversation with him yesterday, man.
Yeah, man. Cuzzo's a great dude, man. He's on the rise right now. He's doing great with YouTube, man. This is his 3rd YouTube channel. His 3rd. You erased 2 of them.
Don't erase them anymore, bro. Don't erase them anymore, Bill.
He erased 2 of them that were monetized, man.
We got to build. You got to build it back. You'll be all right, though. You'll be all right.
No, he's already almost monetized. He has like a couple more watch hours to get, and he's done. He's already good.
Good to go.
He's on an upward projection, man.
That's good. Another guy too, Code of the Streets. You see him there. Another guy that's about to bust wide open too. So keep your eye on Code. Code's a good guy. I'm going to have the pleasure of interviewing him tomorrow night, actually, at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna try it live and see how it goes. If anybody's hanging out, hopefully I'm not stepping anybody's time tomorrow. But I thought you weren't on tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, so I figured it'd be a good time to do it, man.
Nah, I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna upload one of my interviews that I had tomorrow. I'm gonna pump that out. I might have an interview to do later on, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Other than that, I mean, like what you were talking about earlier about kids who are getting influenced in the neighborhoods. I had a conversation with a kid not too long ago where I live. Just happened to see him in the store. Actually works there, and we got into that conversation. He kind of said the same thing. He said the problem is now he's 21. He said the problem is now with the young guys is that they almost wish when they look back at it, if they're looking back at history, if they're looking at mob history, if they're looking at Italian mafia histories, and he did, and he's always was always interested in it. He said the thing that's lacking now with the gangs is there isn't any of those anchor characters. The guy that's basically either does or doesn't represent that block. Who's the
Yeah,
the
like
older
the
guy.
older guy that's like
Right, right,
really watching over things and
right.
and
There's none of
keeping an
that.
eye on things.
Yeah, and somebody that they pay some level of respect to before they make any moves. They want to talk to him before. None of that structure is around. That whole thing is gone, man.
Yeah,
It's all about
now that older person that's supposed to do that is gone, and they're
gone.
just coming up and doing whatever they want.
They're just crazy sets. I mean, they're
No
yeah.
respect for people. They're like, messing with normal people.
And that's the thing too. And I don't want to give away too much, but what we're going to talk about tomorrow, especially, talk a little bit about it now if we want is, and we're going to keep elaborating on it with code tomorrow. But the idea of omerta and the code, like the honoring what it says, and going in and deciphering what it means, what it means in the mafia, what the structure means for people in maybe motorcycle gangs. But then you take this code and you can move that all through like, corporate CEOs and corporate businesses. What's their code of ethics? What do they do that makes them stay on top and not stray? And
There's a code of ethics on here, and people cross the line all the time, man.
and
You know what I'm
I
saying?
think we have an epidemic in that most people in the world right now don't take it seriously. They've never been in a situation other than, well, okay, if you work for a company, you sign this agreement, and if you mess up, HR gets on your ass, especially if you work for a company, okay? But the code of the streets, a different kind of a thing. I mean, like Mike was talking about, there's a lot of this is lacking. The only place I can see where it's actually strong is in some police departments, with the military, with some soldiers that are for real. I mean, that's a code for real. That's a brotherhood. That's a sisterhood. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be associated with something like that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to have some structure in your life, to have some discipline. You get up in the morning and do the same thing every day, make your bed every day, get up and go do something good with yourself.
But for the fly soldiers that are out there with the fucking braids and the island boys, they want to wake up in suburban America and act like they're in the Bloods now. You know what I'm saying? That's what's happening.
That interview,
here,
and you're doing nothing. They've done nothing. So
there's guys like that wake up and they say they're gang members now, and there's people running around like that screaming that they're gang members.
We hear a shot, and they duck, and they run away. Give me, and that's that's the other conversation we were having earlier too, is about social media, and people can you can invent yourself here. If you're smart, you know what you're doing. You can just totally invent yourself. Like,
it's the same way in prison. It's the same way in rehab. It's the same way anywhere you go. Like if you go somewhere where people don't know you,
you can create something that nobody knows, and it's not you though. It's just what are you creating around you? Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
rehab especially. That's the one thing I can speak on because I did that 3 times, until I got it right. And the first 2 times I was doing that.
I've been there so many times, I lost count, man.
Yeah, it's unreal. And the first 2 times it was for other people. And so I went in with that totally different person. Not, it was the VA, it was Veterans Administration.
Oh, you went to try to appease somebody else?
Right. Twice. Yeah. And I wasn't ready. No one ready to stop, man. As soon as I got it was like, had a gig, got on the fucking bus, and the way I went,
thing out, right?
Oh, pop it, yep. First in, hit a rail and hit the road, and that's unfortunately it's how it was.
I've done that.
But the third time, I did it for me. I had nothing. I hit that bottom, and to your point about making something up, when I went in the third time, it was me for real. It's like, look, I got nothing. This is what's happening. I've lost everything. Here I am, and I was actually able to go through it and be honest with who I was to them, which I'd never done. And it was freaking hard, man, because I was in some trouble and there was some legal stuff happening and it was all kind of happening at once. And I just basically said, look, I'm just going to take care of this sobriety thing first, because if I don't take care of this, I'm never going to be able to get away from anything else. It's just going to get worse and worse. So, but it took 3 times. Yeah, I'm a knucklehead, man. Like my Irish grandmother who raised me would say, you're hard-headed. You're hard-headed, son. Hard-headed.
The hard-headed
You're
son.
the hard-headed son. Short and be Gordon. Irish.
Hey, Liz Capolo, how you doing?
What's happening, Liz? Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. Almost some people almost wish for those times when, if you could let's take the streets of Minneapolis, take the streets of your city, and roll it back to the times of when there were those anchor older people, even if they're gang members or not. If you could let's say you take the streets of your town and go back 25 years, 30 years, and put some of those people in place, but then put the young folks in with those guys in place, I think it would look a lot different, because it would be orderly. It wouldn't be so chaotic.
Yeah, if they would listen, though, if the younger people would listen, Right. I think a lot of people grow up now and they don't have respect for their elders. They don't have respect for women. It's getting bad, man.
Yeah, it's really bad. And for those of you out there, I'm a dad. I have a daughter. She's an adult, but those guys, those men and women out there that have kids, especially daughters, make sure if they're little, make sure you're listening to what they're listening to, and make sure they don't go down a certain rabbit hole, because sometimes, you get into that violent world. It isn't real. That whole world of the whole fake gangster rap thing. Like you said, there's these guys.
It's not real.
It's not real, guys,
man.
with the wicks, they call them wicks. It's not real. But because you think it's real and you're 13 or 14, you're going to put yourself in a situation, which is happening all the time in my city, 12-year-olds that are carjacking guys. This 12-year-old last night walked up to this guy in an Audi, stuck a gun in his chest with other guys around him, and started counting down from 5. And he said, "I'm counting down from 5, and if you're not out by the time I'm done, I'm gonna pull the trigger." And he cocked it and started counting down from 5. 12 years old. So
did the guy get out the car?
He got out the car, gave him the keys, and away they went. But I mean, that's happening multiple times in lots of cities in the U.S. right now. You have this complete breakdown. There's no fear with these kids, but they're 12. I couldn't imagine my son at 12.
Yeah, and what happens? What happens when you lock them up? You just bring them home to their parents, and then that's it. They're just...
There's a big question. What do you do? Where do you put them? What happens after that? Can't go home, can't stay in the neighborhood, because they're going to keep doing these things. So this is the big challenge that American cities, American decision makers have. Problem is that a lot of decision makers in these big metropolitan cities are afraid to make decisions, because they're afraid of upsetting people. They're afraid of the woke generation, which everybody knows about them. And the people that are taking advantage of that terrible lack of leadership are the bad guys on the streets. They can do anything they want. There's half the amount of cops in most cities, and everybody's running wild, man. And people are in denial in leadership positions that there are bad people. Oh, they're just misunderstood. Well, if I don't care where your culture is, what color you are. There's a lot of people in other cities that are white that are doing bad shit too. I mean, it's everywhere. But it's a state of mind. It's a sense of responsibility, and there's no loyalty. There's no sense of.
And some people just don't want to change, man.
No. What does it take? And so look over in the next 10 years. It's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. I feel bad for people that are stuck in these neighborhoods that at night can't go out. You got to literally take your family, go in the basement, and sleep down there. I hear about it all the time
because they're shooting.
Shooting. Right? There's rounds flying everywhere. I mean, North Minneapolis, where I'm at, where 50 Tyson is. Shout out to 50. Shout out to Dubs.
Shout out to Dubs and Double Dare Entertainment, man. Go check them out.
And he'll tell you that there's a lot of families in certain neighborhoods. There's hot zones where there's shootings all the time. So they're taking their families and going downstairs in the basement and just set up down there. It's just unreal.
I don't blame them. Shit.
No, so yeah, it's I don't mean to sound like a hypocrite. Here's me talking about this. I've never experienced prison, but I've experienced a lot of street shit, and I've experienced a lot of stuff, seen a lot of things happen. But being from my point of view, being out there on kind of on a law enforcement side those years, and also working with guys as a bodyguard, I was kind of straddling both sides, right?
Yeah.
So I had a chance to see both sides. I got to see the human folks, the people that were for real, the quote bad guys. Then I got to see the quote good guys, and you wear both hats, and that's really what it is, because you take both sides, and the good people are in the middle. It really comes down to this, man. You're just trying to survive. The ones that are truly trying to do it, you do a couple legal things here and there for a couple extra dollars, happens all the time. But it's the ones that are out just creating mayhem, stealing cars for no reason. They're doing things for no reason. They're not chopping the cars up. They're not, making money on shit. They're just driving them.
That's what we were doing at first, was wild things for no reason.
Just to do it.
And then it started getting structured. And then shit just went out of control, man.
Went out of control. Well, and I think and the problem is too, I think it's hard to, if you have a kind of a set that's somewhat together, if nobody can be a leader, because a lot of times everybody's got a drug problem, and they have some kind of an issue, they're dealing with. And so you can't rely on anybody.
Yeah, man, but when it was at its top notch part, it was good, man.
It was good making money, and it was.
I thought it was.
Yeah, it was structured. Yeah, I mean, right or wrong, if there's a structure. That's what I like to hear about. People have had that opportunity. I'd like to hear more about that sometime from you too, is, how it looked when it was structured, and what happened, and why it went south. I mean, was it something that, did the leadership leave, or the different people change? Internal. Okay.
Yeah.
Like a lot of companies, people internal.
Just like with the mob, how it's like power struggles and different factions break up with each other, and they start warring, and then, rumors will start, and people will be plotting on this one's position. It's the same shit, man. It's the same shit.
You're an underboss one day, and then somebody says, or you might be an associate, and you got a good.
One day you're at the top of the heap. You're
making money.
You have a position. Yeah. And you're good. Everything's good, and the next day you're not good. Something's going on because of some situation that you had no control over.
Yeah, or somebody's jealous or something.
I can explain a situation that happened to me.
Explain it. Let's hear it, man. We want to hear it.
One time, I was involved with the gang at this point, and I was at a meeting, and they said there's a green light on the other organization that we were against. So I take that as, when you see these people, it's on site. You got to start fighting, shoot, whatever, on site. Once you see any of them, you got to go after them. It doesn't matter. It's just a green light. It means green light,
Yeah.
So, the next day, I'm driving around with a couple of my friends, and a couple of the people I was with were in the organization. Bless you. Did you sneeze?
No, I did.
So we pulled. We're driving down the street, right? We drive by this. It was a pizza restaurant, and we're driving by, and I look over and I see one of the dudes from the other organization sitting in there eating with his family.
Ooh.
And we pull up, and we pull over. I jump out of the car. I go inside there, and I walk up, and I started saying shit to him. You shouldn't be over here, blah, blah, blah. And then I swung on him in there, and then I took off. And then we left out of there. And so they call a meeting the next day, and I get in trouble for unnecessary beef.
Now, what the hell's a green light mean? What's a green light mean?
That's what I'm saying. The next day, they tell me it's a green light. I swing on the dude. The next day, they call a meeting and tell me I'm getting a bounce for unnecessary beef.
Well, no. Then what they need to do is update their terminology. What the hell's a green light mean? What I remember when I was working with guys, a green light meant it's time to put in some work. That's what a green
Yeah.
light meant. It's like, but if you see these guys, you know what to do, and that's what it is. I mean, it's
And
fucking
what? I'm causing unnecessary problems
what?
because what? It's a green light, man.
So what kind of a penalty was that? What did that look like? I mean, you got to bounce. What does that
Well,
mean?
a bounce, you gotta put your hands against the wall, and there's people in back of you. One on this side, one on this side, on your ribs, your stomach, your
Oh
ribs.
man.
And if you drop your hands, they put 20 seconds on the clock at a time. If you drop your hands, the time starts over.
Whoa.
So that's
Whoa.
how that goes.
So you think that kind of thing helps to keep people more disciplined to do things that they're supposed to do? But here you go. How are you supposed to be a good associate, a good member, a good,
I mean, right there,
enforcer?
it put a
Yeah.
bad
We don't know what they're doing.
put a
Apparently.
bad taste in my mouth, man. Really did. Like I wasn't like I was just like, damn, I'm not.
Especially in front of his family. I mean, that's one thing. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, it was an oxymoron, bro. They're telling me
Yeah.
to do something, and then I get in trouble for doing it. It's just stupid shit.
Yeah, that's really stupid. I mean, yeah, that's weak leadership. It's like if you're going to put something out like a green light, that's serious. You shouldn't play
Yeah,
with that sort of an announcement.
like they just beat up one of our people. So like I was like, fuck that, man. If I see any of them, it's on.
Yeah.
And after that, I did a couple other things with them, and then the whole big situation with them happened. I'm sure I'll get to it once
Yeah.
I start talking about my story and stuff.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
and
there's
then
a
the
lot to
big
talk about there, but it kind of goes to show you that everybody that I've talked to that survived the mafia or a gang of anything related to that, wherever it's from, I'll pretty much say the same thing and pretty much say that
you have a good night too, bro.
good night, Code. See you tomorrow, man. Me and Code tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern live. We're gonna have a great conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be
everyone in
great.
here, make sure you go check out Steve's YouTube channel. He's gonna interview Code of the Streets tomorrow. It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one. Yeah, we're gonna dig in. So, but what was I saying? Oh, and it's the same. It's the same thing. Everybody says Jimmy will say it. Everybody will say it. That in the end, it was a waste of time. It was the worst thing they probably could have done. I mean, you do have some great friends. You do learn some things. There's some things that you're going to reflect on that are
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
funny.
like you have good
Right.
times. Like I had
Right.
a lot of good times with some of these people, man. I had
But I mean,
great times with them. Some of them were my really good friends, but some of the time was shit.
yeah. And then when the bad times are like real bad, like they can kill you or,
Yeah, that's me
you're
in the
going to go to
middle,
prison.
man.
There you are. Nice. Throwing
In
it up.
right in the mix of shit.
How old were you there back then?
16.
Wow.
16. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, there was quite a few sets in Minneapolis, and especially in the summer, a lot of guys wearing really long white T-shirts. I think in the early 2000s, I remember these guys. I was working in the clubs. They come in, and some of these guys would come in, and these T-shirts are like down past their knees and stuff, and that was just kind of what they were doing. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
well,
back then that's
yeah, I don't know, but it goes to
back
show
then,
you.
when I was hanging out there, gold teeth were in,
Yeah.
camouflage stuff, like all camouflage fatigues, gold teeth, Timberlands.
Yeah,
Like it was like a New York City era type shit. Where I'm
yeah.
really close to New York City, so a lot of the fashion and everything from Connecticut comes from New York, and it's
Oh
like,
no, it's great, and that's a whole conversation too. Because out of that, with hip hop and rap, you talk about like some a big, obviously big music guy. So you talk about that. I mean, that whole culture too. I mean, it had such a great effect on everybody, and it just, I mean, it molded what it was, what it looked like, how people dressed. Like you remember back in the day when everybody was wearing, what was it, polo? That they were like sets. Everybody had to have polo, and they,
yeah,
$300 jackets or more, and everybody was just like decked from head to toe with polo stuff. I remember,
there were
around here.
starter jackets and
Right,
shit.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching Cuzzo right before this, and he was talking about starter jackets and Pele jeans and fucking Hugo Boss and cross colors shit.
Well,
Remember all that?
everybody wants to fit in, when you're young. I mean, my problem was when I was young, I was a big kid, but I was a big, heavy, fat kid, right? So I got teased a lot. So they could tease me and run away from me because I couldn't catch anybody. But The funny thing is, and then over the years, I'm
When
got
did you
taller.
start to change? When did you start to
I was 6'3" when I was 12, 13. So I shot up, and then I got to be 6'6", and so when I started working in the clubs, there were a couple of times when I was at my biggest, about 345 when I was wrestling. I was bodybuilding and stuff, so there's a lot of weight to carry, but it was pretty big, and I was
It
working the
is,
front.
man. It's a lot. It's a
It's a lot of
lot.
weight. And I was working at the front door, and these two guys are older than me that were real bad bullies of mine. And I remember, everybody remembers their bully, right? And nobody, a lot of times, don't get the opportunity to see him face to face again all these years later. But what was amazing to me was the minute I saw these two guys, and they're in their early 60s, right? They're older than me. They
Just the
were
look on
broken
their
down.
face,
But
huh?
the thing is, I knew immediately who they were, even though they aged all those years. I knew who both of them were, and they were still together. And they were the two guys that used to beat me up and take my, steal my money and whatever I had in my pockets. So they're waiting in line, and I'm checking IDs. I'm checking IDs, and I'm waiting for these guys, right? I'm like, all
And they
right, and
come in the
I'm
fucking
thinking to myself, I'm like,
oh,
what should I do?
man.
I gotta say something because these fucking guys tormented the shit out of me,
I would have
and
whipped their fucking ID and said, "You ain't coming in this fucking club."
so they're standing there, and I grabbed their ID and I held it. I said, I need yours. So I'm holding both their IDs, and I'm looking down at them, and and I'm looking down. They're shorter, they're little guys. They're like maybe 5'6" and 5'9", and not saying that people who are 5'6" and 5'9" are little, but anyway. I just looked at them both. I said, "Hey, you guys, you probably don't remember anything about me, but," and I started to tell the story about, you two fucking guys, just you stole my money. You used to beat me up when I was trying to walk to school every day. You remember that? You remember that? And all of a sudden, they remember when they both hit him at the same time, because they're looking up at me and I'm looking down at them. Clearly, they were broken down. They don't look healthy. They were all fucked up. And if I wanted to, I could have just smoked them both. Probably it wouldn't have been a problem,
Yeah.
right? But I didn't have to, because just the reaction they had in their head, they just turned white as ghosts. They're looking up at me and they're like, dude, that was a long time ago. I hope you can forgive us. One guy started talking for both of them, and I let him talk for a while. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, motherfucker, there you go. You have no idea what you put me through. But
Yeah.
this is awesome because I'm just going to let you talk and you're feeling the pain. You know that if I wanted to turn the tables on you right now, there isn't shit you can do about it. And
Yo,
that felt
I
kind of
had
good
that
for me.
situation happen with me too, man.
So I let it go, and they went inside, and I bought them both a drink, and that's how it ended, right? I'm like, hey, brothers, it's good to see you guys. Hope everybody's doing good. I didn't have to do anything. I bought them both a drink.
Shout
I
out to
watched them.
Detroit Siggy, man.
What's up, Detroit Siggy? And they're having drinks, and I'm watching them, and they're like talking to each other, and they're looking back and talking to each other, and they had one drink and they left. They went through another door, and I never saw them after that. So I guess the point of the story is this: if you've had bullies and you're an adult, those people still come up in your head. If they're still giving you a hard time in your head and it's stopping you from doing something or moving forward in your life, fucking tell somebody. Because if you tell somebody, then that power over you is gone, and it's gone. And because you can't allow people to affect you as an adult, things that happened to you as a kid.
Yo, so I'm in there. I'm in prison, right? And this CO is in there fucking with me, right?
Yeah.
He's talking shit. He's fucking with my mail, just giving me problems. And I end up getting out, and time goes on. I'm selling weed, right, at my house years later. And this dude one of my friends pops in with this other guy, and I'm like, I didn't know who it was. It's the fucking guy. It's the fucking CEO, man, that was fucking with me.
To legitimately wanted to buy weed, or is he undercover?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, he wanted to buy pot, man. So I'm like, I look over, I'm like, the fuck is he doing in my house, man?
He's in my house.
Yeah, and I'm like, do you remember who I am? And he was scared as hell, man. He was like, oh shit.
Out of his element in your house.
Yeah, yeah. And now he knows like who I am, and he remembers the prison shit. And he's like, oh fuck. And I saw the color go out of his face, man.
Right.
And I didn't do nothing.
Didn't have to.
I just let him go.
You didn't have to, man, because that's the impression. Because he knows what he did.
Yeah.
But you let him go, so he's going to think hard on what he did even more by like you were the bigger man. Like you could have
Yeah.
done what he expected you to do, you know, and be
Yeah.
crazy and then go back to jail again. But no, you know, and that's the thing. I've talked to so many people that are adults like us. I'm 58 years old, man. And, you know, I talk to people that are older than me that are still tormented about things that happened to them when they were kids. Little shit that they could probably deal with. But they just, look, you got to deal with it. You got to deal with that stuff. If you don't deal with it, man, it's just
do you
going to
know
keep.
why? You know all the drama with this whole mob tube shit.
Yeah.
With the FBS and the toilet pizza face,
Yeah.
toilet mouth.
Yeah.
So
where's Calandra? We need to get him on.
The only reason why people are even watching that dude is because they like to watch a train wreck, man.
Yep. They want to see bodies.
They want to see something bad happen to them.
They want to see bloodshed.
It's just terrible, man.
It's unfortunately it's human nature. I mean, that's what we're about. I mean, you know, look at the movies that are popular. A lot of these splatter movies, even though we know that it's a movie, right? Everything is so realistic. This has always been my take that there are those out there that have tendencies to be violent. There are people out there that maybe are just one impression away from becoming serial killers. I mean, there are people that are on the edge of doing bad shit, right? So when you have movies that are really extreme like that, in my opinion, sometimes what's happening, that's almost in their mind giving them permission to step out. And like when Taxi Drivers came out, remember that movie? Great movie, De Niro. Man, there was some crazy shit that happened after Taxi Driver came out. Even though he was trying to help that girl in the movie, there were guys that came out acting crazy. It's just, you know, I know it's free will and personal responsibility. We don't have to censor what people, you know, we can't censor the movies just because we're not trying to protect everybody from themselves. That's the problem. We don't need to do that, but I don't know. You know, it's just try to live your best life every day. And
you know, I try to better every day. I try to better myself every single day, man.
And shed that bullshit. Shed that stuff, man. Get rid of the people that are holding you back. Get rid of the people that come to you and smile in your face and shake your hand, like some of the mob stories. Those are the guys that would kill you. They come with a smile and a handshake, and then blam, you're gone. You know, just like that. So try to find people that understand you.
Yeah, like some of these haters that hate. Do you think that they would even be at a level in the streets like they say they are?
No, man. Not
that
at
they
all.
say they were. They weren't in no damn streets, man.
You know why? Because if you put them in around streetwise people, streetwise guys who have those instincts. Look, listen, you know the deal. Streetwise guys will make people right away. They're going to know in a glance what you're about. Yeah. They're not going to make it out there. There's no way. There's no way, because they had nothing to talk about. They didn't take any hits. There's nothing that they've done that's trackable, like I went to prison for 5 years or something, or I did this. There's nothing that can be traced.
Because they had nothing.
Yo, you got to shut the thing off. All right, background. When you shut it off.
I will.
All right, I'll put you in when you shut it off. He does that every time.
I know. But I mean,
you good?
All right. These fucking guys, man.
You can get it, man. You can get it. So
all you have to do is shut the screen off and then go into the thing. That's it.
But here's the thing. Here's my question. I didn't, you know, I wasn't a mafia. I don't have a button, you know, but I know what I did as far as my experience was my experience. But why would you want to make something up that's that extreme? Like I was there and I actually was there. When you're putting yourself in position, like with Jimmy, when he tells his story on Bath Avenue, everybody's trying. And I bring Jimmy up because I know that story fairly well, you know, from listening to him.
Jimmy probably could have got made if he really wanted to.
If he wanted to, you damn straight. Bonanos.
But guess what? Gene Barillo couldn't have been made because he's not Italian.
Ah, interesting.
He's not.
What is he?
He's fucking American Indian, man.
Oh, he's not Italian. He's American Indian.
That's why they call him Tonto, man. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know.
Hey,
Tonto.
There he is.
Gene Barillo. They call him Tonto because he's an Indian. Because he can't get made. Hold on.
Man. You know what I wanted to be before? I wanted to be a comedian, and I do really good impressions. You ready?
Yep.
These fucking guys, they talk shit. When I fucking abuse guys, I get in the street. I fucking ran with 15 fucking guys. You fucking knew what that was.
And fucking
Now when I
stab this
catch
guy.
you-
Fucking
Now when I
fucking,
catch this fucking Mike Squiggles, I'm gonna come at him too. Who the fuck is he?
fucking Michael Francis.
He don't
Fucking
fucking
Michael
know anybody.
Francis.
Listen, I don't have any hate towards any of these guys. I wish them all the best of luck. But why I wanted to jump in here is you guys made a good point. What I was just down the hood, I was on the bike. I was not in the white section. I was in the hood, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a kid walking around, like pulled up. He was like, "Oh, gee, what's up?" I said, "Yo, what's up? How you doing?" Now, one kid drove by. He's driving a tractor trailer, 24, my buddy's son, doing great, right? The other kid's probably 22, 20, maybe he was 22. Another kid was like 16. He had a pistol. The other kid had a mini. Steve, did you ever see the AR-15? But it's a smaller one. It's like
mini.
5.5 millimeter, whatever.
Yeah,
I said, "What
shorter.
are you doing?" He's like, "Yo, it's out here." I'm like, "Do you think this will ever stop?" He was like, "No." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Because everybody's got guns, and it's a shame because there's nothing. There's no fist fight. There's no let's talk. There's no my bad, bro. It doesn't matter if you try to walk away. It's people feel like that ego, like they're not taught. Respect is taught in the house. And when guys are in the street, they don't have the love. Biker, black dude, white dude, Spanish dude. The guys in the street, like in my neighborhood, there was guys like who were bikers, guys who was gangsters. Like they all had in common was flash. Now, old heads, me and Steve talked about it earlier, they would steer us in the wrong, like tell us, don't do that. Like, don't follow this shit. There's a lot that comes with it. As much as I learned and they schooled me, they're like, well, if you want to know, you're going to learn right. But like I told you, Staxx, I could have listened in probably 1990, right? I was 20 years old, probably 19. I got offered the prospect. I got offered to be expedited. And at the same time, he said, but I don't, if you want to do it, you come with me, I'll help you. And I said, man, I didn't. Like, still to this day, I went the other day, I seen guys, when you're ready. I'm like, it's not that I don't respect that, because I do, because it's very hard. But it's the fact that the kids don't understand that it looks good, sounds good, right? Maybe even feel good for a little bit. But once,
even being in a gang is
same shit.
It's enticing.
It's
you don't think you want that acceptance and everybody to be like, yo, yeah, you're with us. Everybody wants that, man.
But now you can't. What the difference is now today, the conversations old heads have with me, you can't have with these kids. They're too far gone. Right. How can you talk to a kid with a Glock with a 40-round clip, 30-round clip? I mean, they don't want to hear it. They look at, and then they can't fight, and then they go to jail. And what happens? They get beat up, take PC, or they rat. Or most of the time, Steve, I'm sure you've seen it a lot. Staxx, you too in the joint. I'm sure that you hear stories about how, like,
turn them out, man. They turn their ass right out, bro.
You guys seen my boy Nut, right? The one who was on. Now, I think we're going to bring him on Staxx's show. I'm going to see Staxx can pull some shit out of him. But when we got off there, he started opening up. Like, he's still institutionalized. You can see the way he's not used to talking. My neighborhood, we didn't come there. But he said every night he would come out, Staxx. He said, ask your boy Staxx. He would stand out front of his cell and be like, yeah, you girls out there getting fucked tonight. It ain't you, motherfucker. Somebody else got that. And dudes would start like running to the phone, like trying to get a phone call and tripping. So I think,
yo, you want to hear a funny story about that shit?
All right, good.
So I'm in jail, right? And I'm in one of these jails where they got like 5 bunk beds in one room.
Okay.
And so they put the letters on everyone's bed, like if you get mail and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they put letters on the people's bed. They got letters. So this dude grabs the letter off this dude's bed and fucking opens it up, right? And he's reading it, and it's the girlfriend. Yeah, he's reading it to all of us. He's reading it to all of us while this dude's out at the fucking doctor or whatever at school or some shit, right?
That's fucked up.
So he opens it up, and it's like the letter says, "I want a helmet. I want you and your best friend to pull your shit out and rub your things together."
What?
Oh man!
Oh gosh.
She's- Yo, it was his girlfriend, yo, and she wanted him and his best friend to like
Dude, creepy.
wear her. Yeah, wear her.
Oh, man.
So
go
they
ahead,
put
go
it all back, you know, because when you get your letter, it's open already because
Right.
the
Yeah,
jail got
man.
open.
Yeah.
So yo, they put it back on the bed and shit, and then they were like, so then he comes back in the room and they're like, yo, there'll be no helmet bumping.
That's fucking
Dude, it
bananas.
was
Helmet
That's
funny,
crazy.
bro.
Here's
And
the
yo,
thing.
and if you're out there and you're the one that was your girl was helmet bumping, yo, I'm sorry, man. We read your shit, bro.
One of my brothers, well, you know, he's a light skinned dude. He's like, you know, we say brothers. I say he was born the dark skin hit. There's 5 brothers, right? They, you know, predominant in the neighborhood. That whole area, like the corner, the difference between their corner and every other corner, the women can walk to the store, the kids, no shooting, no hanging out, nothing, right? Now you go across the street, it's a different story. But the brother was telling me today, like I was down there, yo, this guy went from being a crackhead to, I mean, running dirty, nothing, pedal bike, like Debo from Friday. He's got a brand new Mercedes, a big $100,000 dump truck. He's a minister, and we were talking because like we were talking about some of these topics, and he was saying how like in jail, because he did like 20 some years, he'll be coming on too. He was telling me how girls in jail, it's like Staxx was saying, like it doesn't necessarily have to be like the girls writing the letter sometimes is more fucked up than, you know, if a guy's writing home like, yo, what are you doing, who you're with, like if the girl's not answering. Some girls, he said a girl sent a picture of her with another dude, like I guess another girl too. And guess what the fucked up part was? Guess who the dude was?
His friend.
His brother.
Oh,
God. Yo, that's what it is, bro.
We won't
Yo,
talk about that story because if he does, the guy's still around, and you know, there was a guy from my neighborhood, Steve. There's about 6'3", big dude, race car. Can't say his name, but he was one of them guys on the street that he was cool with me, but he would always be like a character. And
Right.
blonde hair, big dude, you know, thought he had the women. We thought everything. He would Brody people, right? So he went to jail and he got raped. And
hey, man,
listen,
karma's a bitch, man. Karma.
hey,
What?
you know what's crazy? He came out and he told the story. Like,
what?
yeah. And then, because I always thought, like, I seen him about maybe a year ago at you know, a neighborhood pizza shop that moved out further in the suburbs.
Mhm.
And I seen him and I was just like, man, I always wondered, like, if that, you know, if he was really like, because he's messed up. So I was like, you know, I don't like,
That shit really happens, bro.
Yeah, it
no, I
does.
mean, like, I'm talking about a dude that's big, can fight, that knows people, but I never really found out. I heard it was over a girl. I heard that he supposedly, Steve, I don't know if it's true. I heard that he kind of was very forceful with the girl and kind of, I don't want to say on here, but he, like, you
I'm
know,
sure they get them. They get
he
the
sodomized
message,
her
man.
against her will, and I guess that was
Man.
the payback.
Yeah.
And
If that's the case, then you know, I mean,
It's-
that's, I mean, you know, we talked
They
about
did to
that.
her. They did to him what they
But-
did to her, right?
Yeah.
yeah, but it all goes back to like what he said, karma. Like these kids don't understand
Mm-mm.
that. That's what we have to figure out how to make them understand. You're not going to get away with anything you do. You know what they have in my neighborhood? When I saw the kid with the thing, I was like, "What are you doing?" Right? My boy was right there. He goes, "You're a stupid MFer." I said, "Yeah, why?" Like I know that, but he was like, right around the corner, they have like these little vans, the cop vans. They have sensors. They can tell. I
Yeah, the
guess.
spot shotters, they're called.
Yeah, man. He said
Spot
even if
shotters. They have them out here in Connecticut,
it's
man.
great.
Yeah,
So
we had those too, and then you get a spot shotter, and or shot spotter, and it
Shot
tells you.
spotter, yeah.
Shot spotter tells you within so many yards of, you know,
where
where
it
Yeah, they
happened.
could say right where the gunshots came from.
Well, here's the thing, though. You know, we're code. We were talking about this, Mike, earlier. You know, and about when people guys are surprised, kids are surprised if they get involved in that life, in that world, you know, and then all of a sudden they come out and they're like, what do what do you expect? If you're going to spend some time on the street, you're going to get around people that are doing bad stuff, even if it's somewhat organized. Your life is about drive-bys. Your life is
But you
about
don't
selling
have to do
drugs.
all that shit. You don't have
You
to
don't
do
have
that.
to do it. But don't be
No, but
surprised once you get into it that that's what your life is. I mean, you have to make a choice. You get into that, something like that. These young kids don't know. We were talking earlier about a friend of mine was telling me about. I heard about this 12-year-old that put a gun on this guy's chest. You probably heard me say it earlier. You know, he's 12 years old. Yesterday, stealing this guy's Audi, and he says, "I'm going to count back from 5, and if you're not out by 5, I'm going to kill you." And he cocked it, started counting back from 5. And this is a 12-year-old. I mean,
and I
this is
bet
happening all over the country. You know,
and I bet his father's not in his life. He's probably got
No.
a single mother, or she's probably turned out, and him wandering around. See, that's what these. See, I don't want to curse on these friggin' idiots, and like all these guys on here, this mob too, whatever you call it, they sit there and they're the kind of guys that grab these kids and be like, "Oh, life sucks. The world's everything's set up for failure. You might as well do this. You know, it's not that bad. You get caught, you take a little piss." No, man, these guys lead these kids down such a horrible path. And I'll be honest, I'm so fed up with it. I'm so sick of it. And I think the guys on here, and I don't want to say names, collectively, a whole lot are sending a bad message, especially when grown men are going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yankees, what's up, brother? And it's like, I don't care about money. I don't care about subscribers. Obviously, you can tell I don't know what I'm doing, but that's why Staxx, he was supposed to fail by now. Like, Staxx, I consider a brother, man. Like,
Yo, they want me to relapse. They want me to, I don't know. They want me to be a drunk bum in the street, but it's not gonna happen.
no,
You
never
know,
I am
happened.
so focused, yo. I'm so
but you know what,
focused
Staxx?
on my
Yeah.
task that they're not deviating me
It
from
just
what I'm
makes you
doing,
stronger.
man.
It makes you
Yeah.
stronger. Makes
I
you stronger.
lost my little brother in 2015 from an overdose. And I mean, I told you my son's 14. He's in the other room.
Sorry
So
for your loss, bro.
he never met his mom, and she was on heroin and shit and all that. But you know, at the end of the day, these kids, like the pity party, the scapegoat shit, like grown men enticing these kids, like you said, to go down a bad road.
I used to do that shit though. I used to do that.
Yeah,
What,
see,
what
I
the
always,
fuck, man? I got a bad hand. I got dealt a bad hand. I shouldn't be in jail. I shouldn't this and that.
that's my little brother, man. Well, he was,
Damn, man.
he
Wow.
looks like Junior Gotti a little bit.
Yeah,
Look
he
at
does. Sure does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's
you know,
crazy.
we've met a lot of people, but it's sad because like he left kids, and when all that happened, like even what I'm saying is, even if you did get high tomorrow, why would somebody wish that on you? We're all addicts. I was on Oxycontin. I've been off since 01.
We're not
but
all addicts, man. People don't understand that you're not an addict unless you say you're an addict.
no, if you have something that
No, that's the truth, man. It's the truth.
Steve, what do you
gotta
think
believe-
about that, Steve?
You got to believe it. I mean, you have to. If you can say to yourself when you look in the mirror, honestly, when all of the bullshit's stripped away and there's nobody around, and you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, "I'm an
No, I'm
addict."
talking about until you look in yourself and
That's
say,
what
I mean.
I am
And
a
it-
drug
and it-
addict, you're
yeah.
not going to get help. You're not going to get clean. You're not going to
can
get
do it
none of
for
that
You can
shit.
do it for other people, like I did, and until you hit your bottom, hopefully your bottom won't kill you.
And then
Yo,
it goes-
I
You
know-
learn something.
I know people, I'm not going to say any names, but I know people. I know people that get high. They stay on YouTube like this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then they say, I'm sober. I never did a drug in my life.
You guys want some chips?
Oh, this is a good
You
one.
know what I'm
Finish-
saying? That's what they do,
Yeah.
yo. I never
Yeah.
did a drug in my. It's the
But-
angle of the camera.
Steve, I wanted to do something right now because Staxx has no clue what direction I'm going to go in, right?
Yeah.
I think we can agree.
Yeah.
So me and Steve been talking, and like when I text that stuff, I'm being dead honest. Like, Staxx, think about what Staxx has done. He's put us together. Some of the greatest relationships I'm meeting with these guys, and like that's all from this. I was gonna curse, but I don't want to say it. But like I just want to give you your flowers, brother, because I appreciate you as a brother, my friend. Like you've done a lot for a lot of people. I think a lot of people forget, and I don't even want you to think about it because you're so far away from that. I just want you to know that I appreciate you. I know Steve does. And
I
dude,
appreciate you guys too, man. I
I'm being
appreciate.
real though, but you need to understand, like, I got your back, man. Right or wrong, indifferent, it doesn't matter. And
Yep.
you know, I looked at a lot of shit, bro. You've been doing this for a while, man. Like, you know, anybody can
Since
say
March,
whatever
bro.
they want.
I've been doing it since March, man.
No, but I'm saying though, even you're like, you did the music, like, you know, to come from where you come from and come from that situation, like addiction, whatever, like, it's not an easy task, bro. You know, and I'm just saying, I got mad love for you, brother, and I wish you the best. And I know you're gonna keep doing good. And it just means a lot how you looked out. You didn't have to do nothing. And that's what I'm saying. You got a friend for life with me, man. That's just
I
real shit.
appreciate you, bro.
You know, I got
Yeah,
your
I
back.
feel the same way. I mean, Staxx is a guy that I reached out to because, you know, I said, hey, you know, I want to get into this thing. And the thing about you, Staxx, that I was impressed with is with your background. And then you got into something that a lot of people said, well, what do you bother, this Facebook thing? What are you going to do? What are you going to talk about? Nobody's going to watch any of that. Nobody's going to care about any of this.
Yeah.
But you did it anyway. So, and you're continuing to grow. Anytime anybody says no to you, you use that as fuel to make that rocket fly even higher. So, I mean,
Yo,
it's
mark
nonstop.
my words, man. Mark my words. 2022, I got some big surprises for people. They're gonna be like, boom.
Steve,
I am shocked at the shit I got coming up.
There is a little negative, though. There's a little negative to this mob tube because let me tell you, I have Staxx as my good friend.
MobTube, I'm not in MobTube, bro.
No, you know what I'm saying. How we all met through this thing, whatever, right?
I am my own genre, right
Steve,
over here.
Steve, look, all right, well, yeah, you are technically you are, dude, because you are. You're in a category by yourself. But Steve, you know, my channel still, I don't even know what I'm doing. I've been waiting for this guy. You know Bill Staxx? I don't know if it's any relation to this guy, but
nah, I got you, man. I gotta help a couple people out.
Listen, I don't care, bro. You've helped me enough. I appreciate you. Steve, you too, man. You're a solid dude. We all got to stick together.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. And you know, the thing is, you know, you've got a great line, you know, of that you're going to launch. I mean, your clothing line, and want to be able to get that out in any way that we can help, you know, continuing to push that and get some designs out and get some feedback from people. There it is.
Go
right
check
there.
out Mobswag.
You like this? What do you think? This is the original logo.
Oh yeah, that needs to be out there too. So
yeah,
you know, Christmas is coming. Now we're starting to get into the whole holiday spirit, I guess.
Well,
you know, but now is the time. Get out your credit card and start buying some stuff from people. And get
you guys know my situation due to legal situations. You know, the lawyers told me I can say what I could say. Now, let me tell you, I am the founder, the creator of Omerta Clothing. I filed my trademark in 2002. I was awarded 2005. I used in commerce. I never went big, never had a web page. I kept friends and family all over the United States. The trademark office says you don't have to sell one shirt or 100 shirts. You just have to sell a couple shirts each year, you know, through the United States to just show, you know, so I have, you know, I'm going through situation, but all I'm saying is that what I'm about to do, he's talking about 2022. I actually, when I went down the hood today, was to pull a rabbit out of my hat. One of the guys that I'm trying to work on now to help me to get started introduced Will Smith to Quincy Jones, and he's my buddy's cousin. Now, you know, I think we're all, man, like I'm so psyched. I really am, because this is me. I started this. I came up with the concept in the 90s. I, you know, put it to paper, and then I trademarked it. 2015, I renewed it for till 2025. But, you know, it's time now. You know, I've been quiet, but now
my boy Steve, man, he knows, man. He's seen me. He's seen me overdose before, man. Almost dead. And this dude that just commented,
Steven Markface.
Said, I seen my boy at his lowest. I always knew he'd come out on top. Just keep putting in that work, bro. I'm pulling for you.
Yeah,
hey,
bro,
you know, all you got is what you got right now today. You know, like yesterday is what it is. It's gone. Learn something. Tomorrow, we don't got tomorrow, right? But what we got is right now. And
I appreciate you, Liz.
I had to really learn how to live like that, because I was, ADHD. I go a million miles an hour all the time, and
So
I
does a
don't know
Mike,
anything
man.
about that.
we're all that way. We all have ADHD. And I think it's funny when we get all together and have a
When us
conversation.
three ping pongs, man, there's a fucking ball going ding, ding, ding,
Now
ding,
we get our
ding,
boy
ding.
we get Cuzzo in the middle of this thing, and then the whole
know.
thing goes
Oh,
down.
those, shout out
Where's
to Cuzzo.
Shout out
Cuzzo,
to
man?
Cuzzo.
Yo,
Yeah.
Gotta
hold
get
on a second.
Cuzzo in here next
But
time.
I mean, it's funny, you know what I'm saying? But it's, I've met so many people that think like us, and we have a lot to offer because usually we're highly creative people. We go really fast. We're good leaders. We can make decisions. We don't ponder over stupid shit making decisions. You ever heard of paralysis through analysis? Some people they can't make a decision to save their lives. They just hang on it, especially when you're in business.
Man, I'm focused, man. I am focused on the prize.
But
my
wife will tell you though. I'm a ready, fire, aim, and she pisses her off. She goes, "Slow down." So I'm to be fair,
yeah, you do though. You take on a lot at once, man.
Quick.
I noticed. Yeah,
notice that. Yeah,
you do, man. You're like, what about this and this and this?
Right.
Shit, man.
Weeks ago, we were talking, me and him, and he was trying to get some things together. And I said, "Yo, you should put this as a logo. I can't draw. I don't know how to do it." It's a girlfriend of mine, Allie. Hi, Allie. I don't know if she's watching. She said she might be watching, but she helped me draw it. And then what you did was, man, I'm that kind of guy. I have everything here, but, I have the concept. I know how, I just need somebody helping me put it together. I see the vision. That's easy. Now.
What you came out with for me is really close to what I want. Really close.
The chattering teeth thing, was it close? Okay,
it's really close.
Did you tell him about the teeth first or no?
Yeah.
All right, because you think that Cuzzo is watching right now?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, go ahead.
I told him about the teeth idea, and he just put it together, man, real quick.
Listen, I think that I'm dead serious is probably now. Of course, I like this, but think about it. Like anybody of our generation, you think of chatting or chattering. I that's the first thing I thought of. But the way you put it together, man, I thought it would look like if the words would come out of the mouth, but I think it looks perfect. I think it's spot on. I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
Unless you do whatever you feel. But look,
I'll tweak it a little bit.
I'm gonna.
So,
to me, I'm a creative guy, man, and that's my therapy. Being a musician all these years, playing for 40 years. I mean, being creative, improvisation.
40 years, bro.
40 years playing jazz saxophone, and and that's kind of my. So now doing all this kind of stuff, I build a lot of websites for people. Had a chance to do that. I found it's like, hey man, build a website for me, and I love it because it's like a blank canvas. So I got a blank canvas now. I'm going to start to build this thing that hopefully can turn into something that's positive. I can do resumes for people, all that shit. I mean, it's just one of them things I like to help. That's how I try to help people. And I don't do it. I really worry about, people thinking, who the hell is this? Who the hell does he think he is? No, because the problem is, I've had so many jobs because I'd lose jobs because of the addiction problems or because I'm on the road or whatever. I've had so many damn jobs that I learned how to write great resumes. I just learned how to do it. Right.
I think that's what I like about you. I like the fact that you fucked up like me too. You're real.
Yeah. I mean, you don't learn shit unless you fall down.
How do you?
But you fell down and you got back up.
Yeah, man.
You keep going.
And know that you're gonna fall down
if you
again.
fell and you just stayed down, I wouldn't be fucking with either one of you.
No, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can't do that, man. And no, if you
it just shows what kind of person you are, man. It shows that you're not gonna give up. You're
Can't
gonna
give up.
keep going.
No, and don't matter what people say to you, because and the thing is, like we talked about, Mike and Code and I were talking too. We're gonna have a great call tomorrow. I can't wait for it. But we're talking about self-editing. Like, remember how we were when we were young? Like somebody'd say something to make you mad. So rather than stop, like we as adults now would just kind of look and hold back and not react. We just react. We start swinging. We start snatching guys up. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are adults, a lot of the guys, that were in prison, that haven't learned that skill yet, haven't learned how to, and trouble is when you go back out into the world, if you haven't learned any of that stuff, you're not going to survive in any type of situation. Like if your manager says, hey man, can you fix that? Even constructive criticism, a lot of people haven't learned how to deal with that. They respond in anger. So it's not too late to learn this kind of shit, but there's a lot of creative people out there, man, that need to learn how to just slow down. Not everything is an assault on you. and listen to what a lot of people don't listen. You know, they don't listen to what's being said. People just they only hear what they want to hear. Remember.
I
Charlie
take
Brown?
constructed criticism, but I don't
you
take
have to.
disrespect well, man. You
No,
know,
there's a difference.
and a lot of
There's
these people on here, they don't have constructive criticism. They have fucking disrespect.
Well, because they're hiding behind their
You know?
keyboards. And like I said, shout out to you
Yeah.
trolls. If you want, I'll interview you. I'm going to give.
Oh, I like that. That's cool. Is that the Avatar?
No, your
what they
picture just
call
went
it?
out.
No,
Yeah,
my picture went
if
out.
you-
Yeah, my
Yeah, I
signal
know.
got crazy.
But yo, I gotta wrap this up, man.
All
All right, great show, Staxx, my brother, man.
Yeah,
Love.
thank you,
Steve.
man.
Thanks,
Call me
fellas.
tomorrow, or whatever.
All right, yeah, we'll get this rolling. Thanks, Staxx. Always great.
Yeah.
Brother, have a good night.
Good night. Thanks, you guys.
Yo, make sure you
Appreciate
guys
it.
go check out Real Mob Radio and go check out mobswag.com.
OmertaClothing.com. Just OmertaClothing.com.
Yeah, man. This
Check
is the
out
bomb.
omertaclothing.com and
Staxx is the man.
mobswag.com.
God bless everybody. Have a good night.
All right,
Thank you,
guys.
bro.
Take care.
Take care.
Check out realmobradio.com.
Yes,
God
indeed.
bless.
And thank you guys, man. And I'll talk
Thank
to you
you,
guys.
brother.
Always
I'll
a
talk to you
pleasure.
guys later, man.
Take care.
Without you, Staxx, none of this shit would be going on right now. Me and Steve would have never met. So thank you, brother.
Yeah,
No problem, bro.
absolutely.
Although
I
you're both
appreciate
jealous because my hair is fucking better.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You look good like that. You
Yeah,
look like
right.
Billy Joel. Anybody ever tell you look like
Hey, they
Billy
said
Joel?
Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, man.
bro. Be good.
All right.
See
Make
guys.
sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And I'm going to have some new guests coming. So make sure you stay tuned for the stuff I got coming. It's going to be great. Till next time, man. Peace.
Peace.